In the first example, we have an EMOM format. EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. This workout calls for a 24 to 32 minute EMOM, meaning that the work will last for 24 to 32 minutes. In the first minute, you'll perform 3 to 5 dual dumbbell bench presses. If it takes you 20 seconds to complete the reps, you'll have 40 seconds to rest until the next minute. In the second minute, you'll perform 6 to 10 dumbbell deadlifts. Same thing, if the reps take you 30 seconds to complete, you'll have 30 seconds to rest. In this scenario, you're bouncing back and forth between minute 1 and minute 2, meaning you'll have 12 to 16 sets of each exercise by the time the workout's finished. In order to set up the timer appropriately, you'll want to select 24 to 32 sets. You can think of this as your minutes inside of the EMOM format. Next, you'll want 1 minute of action and no minutes of break time. That's because 1 minute rolls directly into the next. So as 1 minute expires, the next minute immediately starts. This example does contain 2 exercises, but there are plenty of times where you will see just 1 exercise inside of an EMOM format. In the next example, we're using a slightly different interval variation. So in this scenario, we have every 1 minute and 30 seconds for 12 to 15 sets. This is very similar to an EMOM format, just in this scenario, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds to complete the work. Inside of set 1, you'll have 1 minute and 30 seconds to perform 6 to 8 single arm dumbbell push presses. If that work takes you 30 seconds to complete, you'll have a full minute to rest until set number 2. Because of the different work to rest ratios, this is a scenario where you might be able to push the weight a little bit more than if it was in an EMOM format. In the second set here, you have the same exercise just performed on the other arm. And in the third set, you have 12 to 16 1 1/4 kettlebell deadlifts. Because there are 3 sets and you are performing 12 to 15 sets, by the end of this piece, you will have performed 4 to 5 sets of each movement. In order to set up your interval timer appropriately, you'll want to start with 12 to 15 sets based on what you plan to do inside of this piece. You'll want to go with 1 minute and 30 seconds worth of action, and you'll want to again go with no minutes inside of the break. This is simply because the rest is baked into each 90-second portion. So as soon as the 90 seconds are up, you go directly into the next set. In this next scenario, we're increasing the amount of time we have to complete the work, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and we're performing this work for 6 to 8 sets. The main difference here is that we now have 2 exercises to perform inside of the 2 minute and 30 second window. In this scenario, we have 6 to 12 no clap burpees and 12 to 24 alternating body weight reverse lunges. You'll see the note at the bottom of the workout that says, choose a rep scheme that gives you 40 to 60 seconds of rest between sets. This is an important note because it allows you to decide how many reps of each movement you should complete. If it takes you 1 minute to complete all of the work, you'll have a full 90 seconds of rest from set to set. So if that's the case, you'd want to increase the amount of burpees or lunges or both in order to give yourself less time to rest and get the exact dose that we're looking for in this scenario. Setting up the interval timer here is very similar to how you just did it for the EMOM and the every minute and 30 second scenario. You'll start by adjusting the number of sets to 6 to 8 based on what you plan to do inside of the piece, and then you'll adjust the action to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Again, there's no break time needed from set to set because the rest periods are built into the intervals. The last example is extremely simple, but it's the other type of interval that will come up from time to time inside of your program. This scenario calls for an AMRAP format. AMRAP stands for as many rounds or reps as possible. In my approach to programming, this is synonymous with continuous work. That is why you will most often see a suggested % effort associated with the piece, meaning we're not really trying to get as many rounds or reps as possible, but rather looking for sustainable, continuous work. With that being said, in this scenario, we've got a 3-minute AMRAP in which we're bouncing back and forth between no clap burpees and alternating dumbbell snatches. Once the 3 minutes are up, you will rest for 2 minutes and you'll perform this for 6 to 8 total sets. Remember, 1 3-minute AMRAP equals 1 set in this scenario. In order to set up your interval timer appropriately, you will select 6 to 8 sets, depending on how much work you plan to do, and then you will set the action for 3 minutes. Unlike the previous scenarios, you will need to set a break period here. This is because the work periods and rest periods are very separate in this scenario. In the previous examples, rest periods were baked into the total time you had to complete the work. With these few examples, you should now be capable of setting up an interval timer for any interval format that comes your way inside of this program. Just remember to be conscious of the amount of sets, the amount of work time, and the amount of break time, if there is any, inside of the specific pieces. That's all for now. I look forward to seeing you all out there.